Anthony. How are you?
Morning, Jer. How you doing?
It's about David Clifford, though, isn't it? That's what we should be talking about this morning, because we were saying earlier on that he's got highlights reels where he does this in Croke Park against kids, and he looks like a grown-up, but he's doing it now against grown-ups when he is a grown-up.
Yeah, and I felt sorry for Davy Byrne. He wasn't actually having a bad first 20-25 minutes on him. He took him on at one stage about 4 or 5 minutes before that, and he actually did really well. He stood him up and did really well and got a great block, and kind of looked like he's, as a defender, you're like, yes,
I'm in now.
Just go again. Next one down, that's all I need, because you'll really only get tested 3 or 4 times in a game, one-on-one like that, where you could potentially get exposed, but the goal was just unbelievable.
Do you just make an acceptance that you're going to concede 5 to 7 points against him from play, and that if you come in on the right side of that, well done? Is that how you manage this?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. And I think you have to. I remember we played Kildare and I was marking Johnny Doyle, and Doyle was absolutely flying at the time. Johnny was flying, and I remember just thinking to myself, if I can get away with 6 to 8 all in,
frees, yeah.
I said, I'll have a decent enough day. Now, if you said that about a normal forward, you'd be like, you get roasted.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of just say, okay, he is going to get. And it's funny. We'll get into the game in a minute, but the ball in from O'Shea was absolutely beautiful to him. It was just one of those balls where, as a defender, you say, oh, I can get this, and then it just starts to drift and drift and drift. And if you notice, Clifford takes it on his right side and is able to just roll Byrne, and then from that day, he's struggling. He was always kind of trying to catch up, and as soon as he went to ground, that was it. He just had him. But he still had loads to do.
No, yeah, but even the finish is amazing.
Oh, yeah. Evan Comerford is, he's turned into a beast, you see him, compared to even to last year in the league where he looked slight. The fella has put on size, very agile. His kickouts were good, although Kerry, after a while, just kind of gave him the short kick out. But yeah, Clifford is just. And the free at the end was absolutely ridiculous. Most fellas would say, geez, I'm just going to sneak this over the black spot, whereas he absolutely minced it, and put just beautiful curl on it. It was just yeah, okay.
It's something as well that you see Dean Rock coming over and congratulating him. I hate this phrase, classy touch. That's often used too much in sports circles at the moment, but that was a classy touch.
Yeah, it was. Rock could obviously, kind of empathise with the pressure of it and everything else, and obviously the execution of it. But he's, it's funny, over the game, I thought O'Shea, the clash of heads seemed to affect O'Shea, I thought, early on, because he wasn't really in the game for the first 15-20 minutes, and they definitely need him kind of rolling, because I think Geaney was really lost yesterday. There's a lot of pluses for Kerry, O'Donoghue was a massive plus for Kerry. Massive plus for Kerry, because he kicked some absolutely beautiful scores too.
Where was Clifford playing?
He was playing inside. But Tommy Walsh was really your Tommy Walsh, I thought they played Tommy Walsh really well. I thought Tommy Walsh gave Philly McMahon a really tough time.
He's like David McGoldrick. He's your 9, drops deep, holds onto the ball, get runners off Tommy Walsh's shoulder, and you're in a great position.
That's all it was. And they never actually managed to ping one to him where you could catch it on his chest and mark it. It was all just popped in front.
So hang on. So they've got 4 up front.
Well, Geaney was kind of more out at 11.
Right.
And O'Shea then was kind of
midfield
drifting out
almost.
around midfield. Yeah, and when Spillane, I think Kerry have probably decided that Spillane is the man for Fenton. He's done relatively well against them, and they said, but he got a pretty bad injury, it looked like. And it was funny, I thought Kerry, I know it's only the league, and people say, but if you actually really analyse, if this was championship, I don't think too many people would be pretty happy with Keane, because they left Spillane on for about probably 9, 10, 11 minutes. I actually couldn't believe when I saw him being taken off, and that was the spell where Dublin really pushed on. I think Dublin went 4 or 5 ahead, and effectively Kerry were playing with 14 men. But they left him on obviously to try and see could he run it off, but he was in a bad way from the minute 1 where he got the injury. But they O'Shea then kind of ended up taking Fenton. And I think it probably wasn't the best use of his ability, because Fenton decided, well, I'm gonna, especially in that little spell, he had a spell, the 3 scores he kicked in a row were just equally as ridiculous as Clifford's goal.
This is, I think, something that's a huge issue for Kerry. It's this legacy issue of Mark O'Connor going down under. Who is going to be the next midfield superstar that they have? Who will be David Moran's partner? So this is a great opportunity for them to test it out because Moran's out for the league. They had two of the candidates playing club action, so they were out in Diarmuid O'Connor and Jack Barry. But I think what Saturday night hammered home is that if you can't find a candidate to partner David Moran, Sean O'Shea might by default become that midfielder. And he's just not...
Can't do that. You can't find Peter to pay Paul.
Exactly. And I think that makes the issue even more pressing for Kerry.
Yeah, and I think it really robs them because I think Gainey is so used to being inside and doing what he does that when he's out in that bit of space, he's kind of caught between, you know, he loves to pivot and just take it, and he's caught between whether he passes, whether he runs. Whereas O'Shea naturally knows, once he gets the ball, he knows I'm either taking you on or he pings a pass in that he gave to Clifford. Like, he just saw the space in front. It was outside of his right boot. Just a beautiful pass into him. And he really came into the game. I do think he was a bit affected. For that 15, 20 minutes, Kerry were poor. But then once he kind of started to get on the ball, and once Clifford got on the ball, Kerry started to roll. You know, I have to say, I liked some of the new guys from Kerry were good. The young O'Brien lad, I thought, had a decent outing. Like, he's a big unit. He's a guy who they'll need for an extra kick out. I thought Ryan did really well in goals. Bit disappointed with some of the defending, I have to say. Like, I think Enright fouled a number of times again in vital times, not only the one for Kilkenny at the end to put them ahead, but even the goal. Like, Obiugli was a bit rash. I thought Ryan was well out and had that covered, and I just thought he jumped in a bit. But, you know, they'll both be happy, Ger. Fenton was absolutely not, like, for a 15-minute spell around the goal, around the scores. Now, he kind of died a little bit after that, but the points he kicked were just, and it was a real one of these. The Clifford goal had just gone in, and it was real kind of like, just give me the ball.
Yeah,
I'm going to do something here for us, and it was a real sign of leadership. You know, it was just like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to step inside and bang it over the bar.
They put Clifford in the 14 jersey. I don't know if it's superstition or not, because 13. Like, or is he actually going to play 14 this year? Is that the intention? It's hard. Like, who are the corner forwards in this? Do they have corner forwards? We don't really do that anymore. It doesn't really matter. But is he actually now just going to be a full forward?
It might be the superstition. Like, I mean, why mess with it? You know, like, whether you're into it or whether you're not into it, why mess with it? So just give him the 14. You know, like, but Tommy Walsh was, I thought he played, like, a lot of people would say, well, you know, he didn't really get on, and he hit a bad one in the second half where he dropped it into Comfort's hands. Remember when actually they were streaking a little bit ahead. There was two in a row. Clifford had one and Tommy Walsh had one.
Was Tommy Walsh in the full forward line for the whole game?
Yeah, drifted. Yeah, and he just sat in with Philly McMahon, and Philly McMahon had a really tough day. It was strange to get on to Dublin. I thought. But I'll just get back to your point. So Clifford most certainly, he's allowed obviously drift. O'Donoghue, I thought, was more their focal point of say, coming around Tommy Walsh. Tommy Walsh wins it, flicks it. O'Donoghue's coming around the corner, very, very difficult to stop. Yeah. He looked really good. I haven't seen him looking as fit in a long time. His movement was actually, he gave Merchant as a really torrid time. Like, he didn't know where he was. He was standing off him. He didn't get too close. When he got close, he skinned him. And they actually doubled him so much that they pulled him off him in the second half, and they moved Merchant out to the half-back line. Tim's
around, he's 29. He won't be 30 until, I just checked it there, until June. Like, still a young man, you know?
But it's
no miles on the clock.
It's a massive bonus for them this year. Like, Spillane, I think, is excellent. But I just don't think he gives you, like, O'Donoghue has that ability, obviously, off his left or right. Yeah. And he can kick a long range score. Like, he hit a couple of rakers the other night, and he's just busy, you know. And he also brings guys in. His vision is excellent. They were good. I thought Kerry were impressive. A little bit rash and a little bit ill-disciplined in their defence.
The black card kind of illustrated that as well.
Yeah. And midfield, obviously, but as you say, a number of guys out, and then Spillane getting that injury didn't help them.
This time last year, I would not have felt that they were realistic contenders, because I didn't think they had the strength and depth. And it turned out I was completely wrong, because they should have won the All-Ireland the first day. This year, I'm 100% convinced that they are absolutely legitimate contenders. Not just because the Dubs are coming off 5 in a row, but because they have that experience. They've gone so close. Everybody's a year older and a year wiser. They've potentially a solution at centre-back to come back whenever the ACL clears up. And you're like, why wouldn't they be? Like, I think they're right there with the Dubs.
Well, the thing that kind of struck me if you're looking at the difference between the two, okay, Dublin didn't have, you know, Conor O'Callaghan and Mannion came on. And I kind of got the sense that McMenamin and Paddy Andrews started, not to kind of say this is last chance saloon, but certainly to kind of go, okay, we're going to give you a bit of game time to really show, okay? And neither of them had a great game, okay? So I'd say Dublin are in a situation where if you weigh them up, like Kerry have some seriously now really, really good, talented forwards, and all of them can hurt you. You know, O'Shea can hurt you, Clifford can hurt you, O'Donoghue can hurt you, Gainey can hurt you, Tommy Walsh can hurt you in a different way, O'Brien will hurt you. So all of them can kick scores. You've got definitely 5 out of the 6 that you could pick who you'll know will get on the score sheet. I don't really think Dublin have that at the moment. Like Scully, every now and again, you know, Kilkenny ended up getting 3, but for large periods of the game, Kilkenny was well marshalled, I thought. You know, he came really into it at the end. He did his usual kind of just that kind of quarterback role across the pitch, you know, linking play. But, you know, you've Mannion, you've O'Callaghan. They definitely need someone like that guy McHugh now from the Fianna to step up. I think they need something different in that full forward line. They need a lad who's strong enough to win his own ball turn, which he did. He kicked a beautiful score, won a ball, turned onto his left foot, banged it over the bar. But I thought Morley got a handle on him then and put him kind of. He ended up getting taken off, not because he was playing poorly, but I definitely think Dublin and Farrell needs to unearth another real threat in that scoring forward, like a la Bernard Brogan. He needs to get someone. Costello obviously will come back, but you don't know where is he going to be? Is he going to stay? Is he going to really push ahead, you know, from last year?
Do you fast track a Kieran Archer potentially into the setup?
I think you do, but if you are, you better get him in the league. You know, I think you have to give him game time. You have to try to give him at least 3 to 4 starts. Listen, there's loads of talent there. Like the actual lad who came on, Byrne, I thought was really good. Like he really stretched Kerry in the last 10 minutes, and I thought he kicked a good score, and he actually looked really lively, very fast, very confident on the ball, big lad. Notwithstanding the fact that he looks like Prince Harry, there's plenty of slagging going on, but I actually think he was really, really good, and he's a fella who actually might get a start the next day. But it's just, like Kerry just have the natural forwards, and everyone would always say that, but it's the defence that they need to tighten up a little bit, Ger, and I think it's this needless fouling, I think, sometimes that goes on, you know, where they are there, they have numbers, and there's a rash hand in, or, you know, and then a guy's hitting the deck. And if you give 4, 5, 6 of those away in a game, that all adds up. You know, Dublin very rarely do that. They just very rarely do it. You know, they create the arc, they make you try to play around them or through them, and they don't give handy ones away, you know.
You must feel pretty confident. You're trying to, I can see you like trying to keep the excitement levels down, but you're up to high now.
But it's kind of an intangible thing, isn't it? The whole how do Kerry get cuter question, because I think they've come a hell of a long way in that period of time that we've seen under Peter Keane so far, but there is still that element of the frustration of Shane Enright looking up at the big screen at the end and thinking, oh God, was that actually a foul? Was it a soft free? Perhaps they shouldn't be in those sort of positions. But then, like, at the same time, I guess these are humans playing football. You see Niall Scully booting the ball away to give David Clifford the yards at the end. There has to be some sort of allowance for your failings in that department every day. But I just come back to this midfield point. It is the single most important position that Kerry needs to unearth this year.
But Jack Barry's going to be fine, no?
He should be. I mean, he's always good. He's always great against Dublin. Actually, he loves playing against Dublin. Jack Barry, so that works out pretty well. But I don't know why Gavin O'Brien didn't get more game time last summer. I don't know what the situation was there, because I thought he was good again on Saturday night. But you have to be confident. Like, I think that they are unquestionably the number 2 team in the country. But how big a win would have been on Saturday night, I think, is
yeah, you know, and I thought coming into the final stages they would have seen it out. And that again, you have to tip the hat to Dublin. Like, I mean, Dublin looked dead and buried, you know, down to 14. You're kind of saying, Kerry will see this out and they'll win by 1 or 2. But yet Dublin found a way, you know. They came up, McCarthy comes up, gets a great score, and they just started to squeeze, and they really squeezed the kick out. Ryan found it hard to get it out, and they started to come. And again, you know, like, I mean, I go back to Fenton, but McCarthy was absolutely fantastic again. John Small was very, very solid at 6. I thought Davy Byrne was decent at 3. You know, I thought he's He's a guy who just goes and he just does his job. It was funny, at one stage he actually managed to come out with the ball and he was kind of away from Clifford and he had green grass in front of him. But he just he came to a certain line, he just stopped and he just hand passed the ball. It wasn't like Philly or Cooper who would keep going. He just went, no, I'm going back into this guy. So he knows his job, he knows his role, and he does it very well.
Do they need more defenders though? Like, I know that you're making the point about they need attackers, but so they do have a wealth of attacking talent to come back in and maybe it's a system that provides those scores as opposed to an individual kicking 10 points, because we haven't even talked about Connolly yet, and like he's still knocking about.
That's true. Yeah.
But the defenders have been growing old together. Like, I don't know if there's been, so Merchant is thereabouts in the team, but it's a sub at half-time last year in the big game. Like, nobody has burst their way into that starting 6 and gone, okay, I'm now a defender for the ages who's going to be here for a couple of years.
Yeah, like Lowndes was quiet, I felt, and well, Davy Byrne, I think, if you throw Fitzsimons and you throw Cooper back into the mix, and Keane O'Sullivan wherever, whenever and however he is.
Yeah.
Rory O'Carroll doesn't seem to have been able to make that impression, that says, give me that number 3 jersey.
He's still there. They're obviously keeping him around for a reason.
Yeah, no, he is still there. And look, after, he's missed a bit of time, he obviously has to prove himself to get back in, but it's his free was a bit rash at the end. The one I think James O'Donoghue will be very, very happy with his night's work. Like, he got 50 minutes. I was surprised he actually took him off that early. I thought they'd give him a little bit more, because I thought Merchant would have marked up really well on him, right? But it was amazing. Like, I mean, it seemed that Dublin defenders were kind of marking from behind. There wasn't, like, I mean, the Kerry guys were winning the ball well out in front. And with space, from there was separation between them and the Dublin guys. And I don't know if this was a concern about the mark, but it's they probably need to get 1 or 2 unearthed. But I don't think they're in that bad of trouble in the defence.
Surely Kerry's game management is a big issue after the weekend, says Jack Queally on Twitter. 3 up, a man up with 10 minutes to go, and they still couldn't close off the game. It is like the greatest team of all time they're up against, though. Right,
but he's right though in what he says. Like, that, it is just that street smartness, which I think they do have a bit of a journey still to go. Like you mentioned the attacking mark there. It's not something that I think McHugh caught a nice one just before half time, and that was kind of the only real evidence we saw of it changing the way the teams played on Saturday night. Yeah. But I think if you looked at the other game on Saturday night and you look at Ballybofey, I think it was a vast change in how Mayo are approaching this year. I watched the full thing back last night and it was just long ball after long ball after long ball. Some of them were terrible balls. Cullen Boyle completely missed every human being by about 20 yards with those balls. But it just suggests something. What is the one thing that Mayo actually have that other teams don't have? They've got a lot of big men. Yeah. Like, I mean, I would not be surprised to see Aidan O'Shea, Seamus O'Shea, Tom Parsons spend a lot of time at 14 this year, because they were pumping the ball in long. It was like Jack O'Connor and Kieran Donaghy in 2006. That's what Mayo were like on Saturday night.
Yeah, just put it in there. And it's, I don't know, from the Dublin game, it was like, well, we're not going to even worry about this. Like, they just played the game like as if they just didn't care. Even when guys were catching, like Dean Rock caught one that kind of came across the pitch. It was definitely more than 20 metres, and he caught it and he turned inside and he slipped the pass. He never even thought about putting his hand up, and it would have been an easy free for him. But the chance was we actually might get a goal on this. And I think that's the way a lot of people and a lot of teams are actually just approaching it. Bar, as you rightly say, Mayo, who probably say, well, actually we have the ammunition and we have the personnel to really make use of this and use this to our advantage. But I think it's shocking. I think it's absolutely shocking.
I mean, if you've got a good free taker, stick them out left half forward, right half forward, whichever they're happy kicking from, and just get the ball over the other side of the pitch. And it's, like, you saw the little chip shot that
Murphy.
Yeah. Like, but it was obvious that was going to be. It was the most obvious. It was like, once there's a line, and if you're kicking. It's a really easy thing to do. Eventually, the teams are just going to start. You run two players whose job it is to run across that 40 and make sure they're the right side of it, so long as they can kick the ball from the 40 in. Like, isn't that a really good thing for a team to do?
Well, you see, the thing about the change is, not only is it a change for, say, the person receiving the ball, right, but it's also a change of the mindset of the person obviously delivering the ball. So a lot of guys in the last number of years have been told, especially when you get it around half-back, midfield, or even cornerback, you know, get it out as quick as you can, exit out of your defence at breakneck pace, give a hand pass, get it back, and don't go down the middle, go to the wings to come back in. That's the general way, you know. So run away from the centre, go to the wing, and then someone else can come at an angle and take it off you. So now they're having to think, if I'm doing this, I now actually have to get my head up to deliver a pass. So there's a complete change there of mindset and of obviously skill required. And it's those closer in ones where, say, the likes of, you know, O'Shea and me, I was probably disappointed with Gainey, but the guys who can get on the ball and who can just pop those little 25, 30-yard passes onto the chest, which is all you need when you're a bit more advanced up the pitch. And for a defender, like, it's funny, everyone's saying obviously about the Aussie rules. Defenders are going to have to learn that. See, if you were marking, I can imagine the Mayo fullback marking Murphy. All Murphy has to do is get physical with you, push you off, give you a shove, and then so you're 2 yards back and he just comes out and he looks like he's 6-7 yards ahead of you and just claims the ball well ahead of you, because you're never going to get around him at that stage. It's exactly like in Aussie rules. At the time when I played Aussie rules, I did a lot with Donaghy in training. And Donaghy was a bigger man than me, heavier than me, much more, you know, kind of stronger than me, and obviously from basketball. And I remember we were training in Westminster, and he cleaned me. He caught about 3 or 4 easy marks over my head and out in front of me. And I said, I can't, I didn't know how to play him. I was playing from the front, they'd put it in over my head. I was playing from behind, I couldn't get a fist on it. So I realised that actually I had to just get, as he moved towards me, I needed to move away from him as well. So I needed a little bit of separation from him all the time, all the while marking him from the front. So if the ball did get short, I was able to get out in front.
So he can't get physical with you.
Exactly. So I took the chance of him grabbing me away. And defenders are actually going to have to do that, especially if this comes in, which, you know, bar special congress or something, that it's in. Defenders can't possibly, you know, you can't go the old ways of, I'm going to get physical with him, especially if you're on a bigger man. Because all he has to do is literally just push you away, which is not a free in Gaelic, and certainly
no one gives
umpires aren't going to get it. So he just pushes you away in the chest or to the side, and then it's gone. And all he needs is that 2 or 3 yards, and it's an easy pop pass and bang.
Yeah.
So if it's used with advantage, as you say, rather than the old way of the Gaelic way would be you lump it in and we all jump in the air and see who catches it. That's the wrong way to use the mark.
It's get your free taker out at the half forward spot. So he's got a corridor that he runs and never leaves that corridor, and he's going to kick 5 or 6 points. Yeah. Because everybody's job is to get. When you're saying that the game they're going to have to get their head up, maybe you don't even have to get. You have 2 people who are running along the midfield whose job it is to do that. So everybody else still has the same job. There's designated kickers whose job it is to kick the ball to whoever the free taker is.
Well, you can imagine also, if I'm coming forward and Owen is that man, he comes out on a loop and comes past me, I just pop the ball to him, and as he comes around, his ball is just bang, deliver. Yeah. And he just delivers it, cross field or whatever it is, and in as soon as you get it.
Now, so my thing is that if I'm a coach of a team who isn't one of the top teams, I'm trying to be the one who breaks the system first. Because, but do I do it in the league and show everybody my hand, or do I wait until the championship comes and do it then?
Well, I certainly think you'll probably have to do it. You'll have to try it out in the big time, you know, last 2 games or something like that. You'll have to be gearing up towards it, because it's not something that you can just flick a switch.
You're obviously doing training
you're going to have
again
to get
and
the
again
guys.
and again and again. Like, no, don't show it.
Yeah, but you know, it's if it's done well. Like, there is a difference. Okay, so both sides of the ball, as people talk about, there's going to have to be alterations, and certainly in the full back line there's going to have to be alterations, and that's why I just felt that the Dublin backs were kind of saying, well, you know, we're not going to get caught in behind here. You know, we'll deal with anything out front. And there wasn't much man marking, you know. So a lot of defenders in the past are obviously marking from the front. Yeah. And a lot of the Dublin players have marked from the front because they know that, well, everything is going to be here. We'll pull out, we'll get it, and we'll be off at the gap, and we're okay with Cluxton in behind because he can come and grab anything that's hanging in the air. And there definitely seemed to be a little bit of a, well, we're not going to stand here, we're going to move back in behind defenders, because a lot of the Kerry guys, as I say, were getting ball relatively easy.
And they can't catch it. Okay, a quick word about Tyrone and Meath. Tyrone obviously had Colin McShane in the stands on the terraces watching the game, and we don't know what's going to happen. It's very exciting to see if he's going to come back or not or go to Australia. It's one of the great subplots of the off-season is now rumbling on into the actual season itself. From Meath's perspective, they kind of need to get a win on the board fairly early on in the league. I actually thought that Meath were going to stay up because they've so much to benefit from staying up that they were going to put a lot into it. But
yeah, well, they are putting a lot into it. You know, there's no doubt about it. I think they've put a lot into it. I think they had a great start. I wasn't at the game, but I was talking to a number of people who were. I was listening to it. First 20, 25 minutes, they should have had 3 goals. They got 1. And you just can't do that. And, like, I'm not just saying, you know, 3 goals, like, just, yeah. Like, I mean, they should have had 3 goals. Tyrone had got 1, they got 1. And, you know, as we all know, once you go behind against Tyrone, and it goes from 1 point to 3 points, you may as well be 6 points behind, because you're now facing into a second half where they've, you know, really going to say, well, we're going to counter-attack you. It's up to you to come break us down, which was a problem. They lost Andy Colgan before the game, which like, goalkeeper at this stage and in Division 1 is just so unbelievably vital that if you lose your main guy, Dominic York, a replacement goalkeeper, came in and he got taken off at half-time, and Barry Dardis had to go in. And Barry Dardis has plays forward for Summerhill. He has played in goals in the past, but they lost 4 of their kickouts in the first half. They lost 8 of their kickouts in the second half.
Yeah,
and they got 5 scores directly from kickouts, Tyrone, and they won by 5 points.
Yeah.
So you get 2 goals, potentially you don't score, and you give 5 scores away. No, I'm not saying, you know, obviously things have to happen.
Happens, yeah.
But it wasn't ideal. Yeah. So, like, I mean, you finally say, Jesus, of all the things that could go wrong, that's probably, you know. But at the same time, I think they showed up relatively well. And Tyrone would be in fine fettle. Obviously, they're missing a few, but it was a pity. It would have been a good win to get, although it's never easy up there.
No, definitely.